How Intellectual Property Powers Economic Growth with David Miranda. He's an intellectual property lawyer, talked about intellectual property, the fuel to power the economic growth. He said that the nation is shifting from industrial to relying on intellectual property. He brought up the fact that the ideas that people are coming up with and the patents that are coming from that, having the rights to their inventions for the 20 years and then having it go into public domain, those are the things that are helping with the intellectual property continuing to grow economically. He also talked about relying on the intellectual property for the region to continue to grow. He made a specific comment about a region growing due to having the water access, and then on down the road was the railways, and now it's more going into thinking about the intellectual property of things and why people are moving to certain areas because of that. He said that educational institutions were important. Every dollar spent at SUNY Albany, the region ended up being blessed financially from them. He brought up the inventions that they had done and the way that the region had benefited from that. He said every dollar spent, that the region ends up thriving off of it. Spoke into detail about clean and green energy, that they had the highest employees in clean and green energy in Albany, and that they are considered the 5th fastest growing place, Chicago being number 1. He said that there was a 9% growth in 2003, and it's not because they came up with more patents. It's just the fact that the rest of the region was coming in and helping them catch up. Talked about exports, $1 billion in goods and services in metropolitan areas. He said that our region has taken the lead. Investments made will have a spillover effect. Talked about the rise of the creative class, the level of creativity providing the innovation, and that's where the people want to go. Talked about technology growing from individuals, supporting the education, ultimately helping with their creativity, the need to look for ways to attract individuals to move into those areas and then use their creativity to help to continue to grow. So with the video, he was explaining that with the intellectual creativity, intellectual property, ultimately going with the individuals and their ideas and the fact that they are creating new ideas, coming up with these patents, it's helping the region grow financially. And as far as a personal reflection on this, how I could possibly use this in my profession, I have been in multiple leader positions, and one of the leader positions that I held was through the organization of Weight Watchers. I'd lost weight through the program, and then they recruited me as a member to actually lead the classes. And through my success story, I had lost over 100 pounds. They wanted me to share that success story with the members. And the more meetings that I did, the more comfortable I felt. I made them personable. I started out with my story, my why, the reason why I joined the program, things that worked for me, things that didn't work for me, I was able to take the topic that Weight Watchers said, this is what you're going to speak on this week, and make it real, make it personable, give them tips and hints and ideas to get them through the next week. We had plenty of opportunities to be entertained during the class, and yet at the same time, while I'm getting them laughing, we didn't really take things too serious, but yet at the same time, they knew that they were learning in the process of what to do to be successful for the next week. When I started out running these meetings, they were very small meetings, like 20, 25 people. I actually was able to grow these meetings as far as members and the product sales by letting them know that those were wonderful tools and those are things that I had taken home to help me be successful. So I ended up receiving multiple awards for growing the attendance in the meetings, and I became the #1 salesman in all of the meetings per regions. Every year whenever we had our award ceremony, I was always the top seller for that area. And I know that ultimately it's because I believed in the product. I used the product. I knew that the product worked, and I was able to show them what the product had done. They saw the success every week, and I was able to be quote unquote real with them and let them know, I'm always here for you. The communication was always open before, during, and after the meeting. And I know that that made a big difference. So people from different regions actually would come to my meetings. It may have been a little farther drive for them, but they chose to come to my meeting because of the creativity, because I had those new ideas, because I was inspiring others. And word of mouth, of course, is ultimately a great resource as far as advertising. We didn't really have the intellectual world back in, 99 to 2008. It started booming a little after that, but it definitely makes a difference whenever you are promoting the product just by walking and talking about it. So the creativity, I 100% agree with him, and using the ideas and continuing to grow and make it something that people want to be a part of will help you be successful.